on the big screen.
There we
here.
go.
Yep. Look at that. Like magic, it happens. Good morning, Michael Knight.
Good morning, Vinnie. How are you?
I'm good. I had a rough weekend, as I understand you did.
Yeah.
Did not have a drive time on Saturday morning. So we'll get one up this week sometime to make up for it. But you get to this age, Michael, and all of a sudden everything starts to
Things crap out.
yeah, figuratively and literally. I mean, it's just
I've got the figure for you, and I've got the literal for you.
Yeah, we got both, and we got them. But I still managed to have a good weekend. I did a return trip to Canada on Saturday.
Wow.
2 times in 2 weeks, and the guy at the border, Canada border guy, says this is the second time in 2 weeks. You're either smuggling stuff or you want to stay. I said, well, how can I stay? But now I just went up to White Rock for a quick dinner, and just want. I don't know. I just seem to enjoy the atmosphere. I don't know if it's the people. The people are probably the same. I mean, they probably got the same problems and the same stuff going on. It's just in how they handle it. It seems like maybe they handled it a little bit better in Canada than they do here right now. But then again, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not there long enough.
So were you just sitting around Seattle and suddenly said, you know what? Canada is not that far away. I'm out of here again.
It's exactly what it was, Michael. I just, I don't know if you remember White Rock, but it's the southernmost town in BC. It's right on that bay that where Blaine and Washington and BC come together, and it's very reminiscent of like Carlsbad or places in Southern California. It's a really Southern California feel to it. There's cars cruising up and down. People probably Saturday night. Lots of restaurants. There's a boardwalk. They had a Pride festival going on, small, but it was still bands playing and people milling about. And it just I just longed for a piece of that. And so I went up there and sat at an Indian restaurant and watched the world go by on a beautiful summer night. Not too hot, not too cool. Watching
you guys are not having the heat wave that is cooking the East.
Not yet. Matter of fact, it's been unseasonably, well, I wouldn't say unseasonably cold here, because we're in that part of the year in Seattle and Western Washington where you're never really sure what you're going to get. Up until 4th of July, you're in that never really sure what you're going to get weather pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in that now. Last week we had a couple of days where it hit 90 or 85. This week so far, not nice days, pleasant days, but not those scorches like they have it back east.
You're gonna watch the fireworks around the lake at all the various places where it's offered.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'll go out and watch them. I mean, the cool place to watch the fireworks, I guess, will be downtown, and I have a little secret spot that the roof of Cairo used to be the best place to go because you could see all the fireworks on Lake Union, which is where they hold the fireworks on 4th of July. But I don't know. I'm not clear on my 4th of July plans yet. It's still not too late to jump on a plane maybe and go back to New York. I mean, I was there for the 200th. I may as well be there for the 250th.
I'm sure they enjoy having you home. It certainly vibed the place with
I don't know.
some special vibes, New York
Yeah,
vibes.
I'd like to go. It'd be nice to be able to go. I don't know if it'll happen. It's a long shot at best. Um, but I was thinking it'd be nice to go back and be in New York. I don't know what New York has planned. I haven't really paid that much attention to it. But I'm sure it'll be something. New York has a way of doing major things like this. I still remember the 200th when they had the tall ships, and back in '76, and just a fireworks display like you never saw before.
Masted schooners in the harbor.
Yeah, it was quite incredible. And we had a friend that lived up on Riverside Drive at the time, and so we were able to go up to Riverside Drive and go up to their place and go up on the roof and watch a lot of the stuff that was going on. Had a commanding view of the Hudson southbound from 72nd, and it was incredible.
On the Riverside Drive. One of the tall, stately apartment buildings that grace it, right on the river. Great view of the city or the river, whichever way you're looking. Even New Jersey looks rather appealing.
Yeah, and that's something that's not uttered too much in New York. But yes, even Jersey.
Gaze at the beautiful Palisades.
Well, it's funny too because Jersey now.
Can't hear you, man.
You look across the river and what used to be cliffs and stuff like that is now either all apartment buildings or they've cleaned it up. That side of Jersey doesn't. It's not dominated by the Colgate Palmolive clock anymore. And so even a lot of those towns and municipalities, put on fireworks shows. So you have this whole almost running competition. I mean, Macy's is the main show. That's the big show. I don't know if they still call it Macy's, but what used to be the Macy's fireworks show was the big show.
Remember, Bill Graham had fireworks on Day on the Green productions, and his thing was he would have various firework companies pitch him on their wares, on their show, on their collection. And he was famous for saying, I like that one, double it, and we got a deal. And that's because you can't have too many. And if you got somebody who knows what they're doing, make sure you get plenty of them. Well, because people are going to ooh and ah, and they don't get tired of oohing and ah. And they just wait for the next one. Ooh.
The most firework crazy place I ever lived was no doubt Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh loves, will continue to love their fireworks. There's something about fireworks and Pittsburgh that just go together.
Nobody can explain it.
If you go, I mean, Pirates could be in last place by 40 games. And when they have a fireworks night, which they do at least once a month during the season, sometimes twice a month, the place will be sold out. You can't get a ticket for months. It's amazing. It's a phenomena, and when they have other fireworks shows in parks and things like that, people just love them there. There's something about fireworks that attracts the regular blue-collar Pittsburgh person more than any other place I've ever seen.
What is a Pittsburgh person? Pittsburghonian?
Pittsburgher. Pittsburgh, from the Berg. Real Pittsburgh people don't refer to it as Pittsburgh. They refer to it as the Berg.
The Berg.
The Berg. Capital Burgh. The Berg. And it'll
And they
I'm
grow up
sure
loving
that
their fireworks.
say again, I'm sorry.
They grow up loving their fireworks.
Yeah, well, it's a family thing, you know. I mean, people go and they take their kids to it, and they take their kids to it, and it's been something that's gone on for years, and people love them. People, it's a great night out for people. The area lends itself to fireworks because you have the rivers, these wide open, the three rivers that are wide open spaces, and it's cool. Now, what about down in? I mean, I would think that fireworks are probably not a not a very cool idea in Southern California.
Because of the fire danger.
Yeah, yeah, not because they're not patriotic, just because yeah, there's I would think a rather large fire danger.
Well, you're right about that.
Yeah.
The
So
it was like 5 years ago. For some reason, I think it was COVID. We had a 4th of July, and the fireworks, the illegal fireworks, went on throughout the night. It was just kept going, boom, boom. M80s and cherry bombs going off in the neighborhoods, and it was never like that before, never like that since. The sustained fireworks through the night was something just remarkable. And like all cities, the different municipalities have their own shows. So there's fireworks going off over there and then way over there. And then just you can see through the palm trees, more fireworks go over there. It looks like that must be Alhambra in South Pasadena. And if you far enough away, be toward downtown. And it just went on and on through the night. Never happened since.
well, was it last year or maybe the year before last? I mean, it's interesting with fireworks. For a long time on 4th of July because it's Erin's birthday. Um, we would go out together, and then as she got older and she wanted to go and hang with her friends, that kind of went by the wayside. Um, so I don't know what she's doing this year yet, but celebrating it with your dad is still, it went out a long time ago. But uh, but we used to take her to see. San Francisco puts on a pretty good fireworks show every
Yeah.
year. And there's lots of great vantage points to see it, especially if you're up on Potrero Hill or
We're out on the bay.
yeah, somewhere out on the bay, Treasure Island, places like that.
Alcatraz be a good spot.
Yeah. Here, last year, no, a couple of years ago, I went over to, not last year, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, right after COVID, I went over to Whidbey Island. And looking back from Whidbey Island, you could see all the municipalities shooting off their fireworks.
Cool.
You could do it at Alki too. I mean, but again, that's when you get into like, the crowd of thousands.
Surging humanity.
Yeah, and I'm just not, I've come to a point where I'm just not good with crowds anymore. I mean, I'll do it for a Springsteen show. I'll do it but to stand in a crowd for 3 or 4 hours, again, it just holds no appeal to me. I got to go to the bathroom too much.
and you always consider, wouldn't this be better if we had more drunks with us tonight?
Well, yeah, there is the fact that people have lost much self-control, much of how to act in public.
Lost
You
my
know,
manners. Lost my manners for the Fourth.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I don't know. This year, actually, one of the things I've done for a few years too, which is kind of nuts, is I'll drive my car up to the Ship Canal Bridge, time it so I go across the bridge while the fireworks are going off, slow down, which, I'm not the only one doing it. There's a ton of people doing it. Now, some years they have the state patrol out there waving people on and, move, move, let's go. But some years
So,
they don't. So as long as you're not the last car, um, you don't have to worry about it so much, or you can find a place to hang out. But it's still fun to watch them. I still get a kick out of it. I still like to see people enjoy them. I still get a kick out of the kids and of how much they enjoy them. I miss, New York. We used to have, we used to go buy fireworks and do our own fireworks shows
sure.
on the block. Or the best one was at Astoria Park, where this guy, friend of mine, he's passed away now several years, Bernie Stravelli, used to buy at that time $3,000 or $4,000 worth of fireworks and light them off.
Where did you have to go to get illegal fireworks that you couldn't have?
Everybody knew somebody. Yeah, there was always a guy in the neighborhood that was hooked up. Although I'm old enough to remember when you used to go down um, to the docks on the west side, and there'd be ships down there that I guess some of the fireworks would come in on. This was before cargo containers and all that kind of stuff. Or you would get as I got older, you'd get a couple of buddies in the car and you drive down to like Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and you'd buy them there and load the car up and hope you didn't get stopped on the way back up. Of course, then the cops would have a great fireworks show. But generally, there was always a guy in the neighborhood who was selling fireworks out of the trunk of his car.
Where I grew up in the Bay Area, we would go to if you wanted professional fireworks at a certain number, we'd go to Chinatown. You had to make a deal. You had to be careful who you were dealing with, but that was the spot where it was the port of entry. Chinatown, San Francisco. Fireworks were there.
I'll bet you was. Now, did you ever go down and buy fireworks yourself?
Fringe did. I didn't buy the illegal ones.
Okay, so it wasn't like a scary. Because we had a couple of times that we went down to the piers, and the piers went out. It's where the World Trade Center is now, all up and down the west side. That.
What's the name of the park? Battery Park.
Yeah, north of Battery Park, before Battery Park City was put in, before the world, that all used to be piers, shipping piers. And that's where you would go. And there was always some really interesting characters, like out of a Dashiell Hammett movie or something, hanging out there looking for yahoos like me and my friends coming in from Queens or something to buy fireworks. So, well, now we never got taken off, but we heard stories of kids, and we had a couple of incidents that were kind of scary, like come into the pier, go down there, you think you were going to get your head chopped off and thrown on a steamer and wake up in China.
You're going to love Shanghai.
Yes. Oh, it's a beautiful place. But it always had that air of danger about it. And then bringing them back in a supermarket bag on the subway, hoping that somehow they didn't go off, or they didn't get too hot, or they didn't get this or that. It was an adventure. When you're 12 years old, that's an adventure, man.
Oh God, yes.
And I always remember the shady guys in cars hanging out under the West Side Highway between like Wall Street or Church Street and Canal Street was really whatever those piers were there. Those were like the main. That's where you really found the people that were selling fireworks, and you there was a lot of them, and then there was guys that had nothing to do with the piers. They were just hanging out in their cars, just it was the place to go. So then, if they see 4 or 5 kids, walking up the street, hey, fireworks, man, fireworks. There was always a guys, you always ran into a guy who had a trunk full of the good stuff.
Yeah.
The M80s, ash cans, that kind of stuff.
What were the black little things that you lit, and they looked like it was growing out of the sidewalk?
I don't remember those. I mean, they had. Did they whistle and make a noise, or did they just blow up?
All they did was burn. You'd light the top of it, and it would burn, and it was like the ash was growing out of the sidewalk.
Oh yeah. They still make those actually. I forget what you call coils. I think they called them, or something like that. If I'm thinking of the right thing. And yeah, you just laid them down the sidewalk and you lit them, and
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. We always. We always tried to cause the most destruction we could.
Yeah, good job, Ben.
With our fireworks, unfortunately,
Wouldn't have expected anything less from you. Good job.
Yeah, we did blow up. But I say we. I never forget this one pre-4th of July, because we start getting our fireworks a week, 2 weeks before, before 4th of July, and so. My friend George, he's gone now too. Passed away of AIDS years ago. Georgie, we were going to blow up a phone booth on 82nd Street. That was our big, let's see what the ash can does to the telephone. So he's got an M80 and he goes in the phone booth, and we run like to the corner. And so he lights it, he puts it in the phone booth, and the minute he lights it, man, the cops pull up.
Too late.
So, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, man. I mean, he's caught red-handed. So he throws it in the phone booth, tries to run, but Georgie was a fat kid. He wasn't running anywhere. So he gives himself up to the cops. He says, "You got me." The cops grab him. And, it's not like it is today where, you want to get charged with terrorism and this and that. But they charged him with, destruction of public property. He blew up. Strangely enough, the only thing that happened to the phone booth is, it was one of those metal phone booths standing alone on the street. So the metal blew out a little bit, and 2 of the glass panes that had wire in them, if you remember, blew up and shattered. So I don't know. It cost the phone company. I forget what it was. I think they said it cost them like $300 to fix, which his father had to pay for. And then Georgia got arrested for willful destruction of public property, and there was a federal offense in there, but they dropped it, of destroying interstate phone lines, but it was a trip, because he got in the most trouble that I'd ever seen anybody get in for fireworks.
All because of bad timing.
All just because he didn't look. The one thing we did, you really were supposed to do was make sure that there was nobody around, because we realized what those things could do. And we realized that they could cause harm. So you're supposed to make sure, hey, is everybody out of the way? Nobody's walking down the street. Mostly we just set them off on the sidewalk.
I had a collection of, I don't know how I got them or where I got them, a bundle of bottle rockets. And I had them in my sock drawer for years. And when we lived on Mercer Island, I decided that I was going to blow them off. I could shoot them that way, and it looked like it was clear. It would go across the lawns and out into the street, and it would be good. The bottle rockets can't be sent in any direction. They go where they want to go.
Yeah.
So I set up the first one. I light it. It goes around back over there and lands right on the roof of the house next door, shake roof. Exactly what you don't want to happen happened on the first bottle rocket. Completely out of my control. And that was my lesson. Had to put them back in the sock drawer.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know where they are now. They're gone. I didn't shoot them all off.
Yeah, it was, and the fireworks, you know, they've become more sophisticated, more this, more that. I just when my ankle got worse, and I couldn't run as good as I was as I as I had when I was a kid. I stopped lighting on fireworks because I figured it'd be my luck that I'd kill myself or blow my arm off or something like that. I just wasn't. I had lost that bravado that allowed me to stand there with a punk. We used to have punks to light the fireworks off and throw them, and I didn't have that. I've always had a thing about myself. I say I'm going to try not to injure myself. If somebody injures me, well, that's a good story to tell. But if I injure myself, then I just look like an idiot. And so the appeal transferred from me lighting off the fireworks to watching somebody else do it. But I always loved going down to Astoria Park and watching Bernie Stravelli, man. He lit off a good firework, good bunch of fireworks. Always had 10, 15 tow trucks down there too, because Bernie was owned an auto body shop. So it was in Astoria Park was a place where everybody went, hung out in the summer. So everybody showed up for Bernie's. I guess I understand Gotti used to light off a pretty big fireworks show out in Howard Beach. I never went to it. I stayed away from that crew. But
was Howard Beach part of his terrain?
Yeah, he lived out in Howard Beach, so that was his home territory. And
wasn't that taken by the Russian gangs later?
No, strangely enough, I think Howard Beach is still an Italian enclave.
It's nice that something hasn't changed.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty much an Italian. Now, again, who knows? But I still know people that live there, and they're old Italian families that have lived there for a long time. Mostly cops and firemen.
Some great accents have to be in that neighborhood. Got cops and firemen. They're teaching everybody how New Yorkers talked 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. See, because the New York accent is a dying thing.
It can't be.
Kids don't grow up. I mean, it's a different accent now. It's heavily infused with Latin, Spanish. It almost sounds like Southern California Chicano, but dropping the R's. But my accent is becoming less and less as people my age and a lot of the millennials, a lot of younger people, a lot of the younger kids don't talk like this. They don't have an accent like I do. Now, I'm lucky. I learned to use mine to my advantage. But, if you're going for a job on Wall Street, you're talking like this. Maybe not so good.
Maybe not what they're looking for.
No, I've lost a few jobs because of my accent, so you know. So who knows? But it's certainly a piece in New York that's like the same as middle class people being able to live in Manhattan. It's going, and it's probably not going to come back. It'll be in the movies, and it'll be recreated on AI. But I don't know. Even Mondami doesn't have a really pronounced New York accent.
No.
There were some mayors like Koch had a New York accent. A. Beam had a New York accent.
Fiorella LaGuardia.
LaGuardia had a New York accent. Wagner and Pelletieri, I remember hearing, Wagner. I mean, I was alive when he was mayor. They had New York accents. Mayor Wagner had the only mayor I remember that didn't have somewhat of a New York accent was Lindsay.
John Lindsay.
John Lindsay didn't have a New York accent, and even Bloomberg had a New York accent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah, the New York accent I think is not, and I don't think it's just New York. I think Chicago accents. I think accents on a whole are going by the wayside in a lot of places. I mean, I don't hear as many of those nasally Midwest accents,
right,
as I used to. So I don't know.
No, you're right. It's the influx of television and social media, the pronunciation and the influence that accent might have on the kids coming up is diminished. They don't hear it. They don't hear it. They don't speak it. They don't come up with phrases that they heard from their uncle or the guy down the street or somebody at school. Yeah,
they do. I don't know if they come up with their uncle, but they definitely have their own language. There's definitely stuff, things that I hear Aaron say, that I hear younger people say that, well, what's that? You got to stop them a second and say, what's that? Both our baseball teams had, we didn't obviously weren't here for Friday, but the Mets fired their manager, and the Giants. I didn't see anything on the Devers thing over the weekend, but that was interesting.
When he wouldn't come out of the game.
When he wouldn't come out of the game, yeah, I think that's. I can't imagine many of the old school managers. I mean, I always refer to Lou. I couldn't imagine somebody doing that to Lou. I couldn't imagine somebody doing that to Joe Torre.
And the way it was not too demonstrated, not too outgoing at the beginning, but when the runner, I think they were taking him out for a pinch runner when his replacement came to the base. Devers flounced off. He physically showed his disrespect, and that was a foolish thing to do.
Yeah, something you're not supposed to do in baseball. You're just supposed to, go quietly or argue about it, but not with your own team.
And I don't know what they're going to do about it. They have not. He's not a good example of trade bait, because remember, he got traded out of Boston with another similar thing. He had disagreements with management over playing first base. He was a third baseman DH. And it's interesting that since coming to the Giants, he has not played third base one day. That was his position.
Right.
He was a third baseman. They turned him into a first baseman, and he resented it in Boston, made a big deal out of it. When he got to the Giants, he thought he'd play some third base, DH, and first base. But he became the first choice for first base. And so he didn't improve his condition or his lot in life at all by getting in trouble in Boston. And if he'd done it again, that's two teams. That's Boston and San Francisco that say you're not a team player. You're too disruptive. I don't know what you want, but we're going to get rid of you.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of his career.
Well, I don't know that I'd agree with that, because I always think, because if they get rid of him, they're going to have to pay him his salary. Because if I remember that contract right, didn't Buster Posey take on like all of his contract or some ridiculous number to get him?
Yeah, it's not a good deal on paper.
So I'm sure that there'll be some general manager that will say, I can fix this guy. We've seen it time and time again. Maybe the biggest example of that was Tony Phillips. Remember Tony Phillips?
Yeah.
You know, he was a guy that played himself off of many teams. And there was always somebody
taking a chance.
We can
work with.
Was another guy like that. Played himself off a bunch of teams. But yet, there's always somebody that thinks that they can straighten him out. They can get him, to do what they need him to do.
Or they say, I don't care if he's in a bad mood, he can hit. Let him hit.
Right, at the risk of disrupting the rest of your team.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. But there'll be some way to take him, because that's how baseball works. I don't know.
Well,
I think
that's true. They had Giants had a good series with the A's, and they had a reasonably good series with the Braves. They did, but they win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 2. They're not doing anything to achieve their first plateau this season, which is to play 500 ball. They can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's at this point, they always say wherever you are on July 4th is a good indicator of where you're going to be at the end of the season. And unfortunately, both of our teams are not going to be anywhere on July 4th. Not going to be worth watching on July 4th. I mean, 2 times last week. Was it last weekend or was it this? No, 2 times last week. I went to turn on the Mets, and they were behind by 5 runs. And it was like the second inning. And
they made up their mind that day to underachieve.
Yeah, they weren't going to. They just decided, and then they fired the manager. And that's an interesting thing. I mean, it's kind of sad, because I don't think the manager was the biggest problem there. I just thought it was they brought in players that were injured or became injured easily or had problems getting along with people. They had a good clubhouse the second half of last year got a little crazy, I guess. But the year before that had a great clubhouse. The year before that they had a great clubhouse. A lot of people in New York want to blame it on Soto. Soto's fulfilled his part of the bargain.
He's had a good season, pretty good season.
He had a great season last year. He's having a good season this year. He's done what they asked him to do, go out there and play all-star caliber ball. And he's done it. I think it's hard to really blame much of anything on Soto, I think. I mean,
so they're going to unload some people and try to rebuild. Soto would be a good place to start, because they're going to doubt you for him.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's going to take Soto because his contract is nuts. His contract is. I mean, the Mets are going to be just when the Bobby Bonilla contract ends, the Soto contract will start.
It
It'll be
runs
years.
to the end. Runs to the end of time. In
Yeah, and
perpetuity
then
throughout the
some.
universe. Yeah.
And then so whatever is here after the universe, we'll still have to send a check every July 3rd to Juan Soto, care of Bobby Bonilla. But right now, the Mets, between it now, I guess last Friday, Lindor was finally back. So they finally got the 1-2 punch in their lineup. I did not pay a lot of attention to him over the weekend, to be honest with you.
Stop it.
So it was time to. But we'll see what happens. I mean, both of the teams, like I said, are mired in getting nowhere. The Mariners, at least, are competitive. They seem to be getting some tough breaks.
They have a easier division than the Giants or the Mets.
Yeah. And the Pirates are doing as good as better than people expected them to. So at least, at least there's some enjoyable baseball to watch.
Somebody's got to be able to play ball.
Well, the Mets you could kind of see coming. I mean, I don't know. I was just never. Not that he's doing great in Baltimore, but it's the classic thing of you get rid of somebody who is the heart and soul of the team.
Pete Alonso.
You don't grasp what he means to that team and how much people admire and respect him on the team.
The baby polar bear.
And, he should have never been gotten rid of. At least if you would have had Alonso and you have a year like this, there's the one guy who's going to take the heat off of you. He's going to say, hey, we're having a bad year, this, that, and the fans love him, and there's a certain amount of acceptance that'll go along with that.
Right.
They're not getting any acceptance right now. I mean, is that they're going through everything from, there's David Stearns, who's the general manager of the team, the head of baseball operations. He's, people have a dislike for him, and they're starting to dislike the owner. But I guess that comes from playing in New York. I mean, unfortunately, if you don't win in New York, people are, these days. I mean, I think it's that way in sports. But if you don't win in New York, you suck. That's all. There's no I love my team. There's a little, I shouldn't say there's no, but it's not the popular theory with social media. Well, I love my team no matter what. My team's having a bad year. The Mets have had a bad bunch of years. They had that great run 2 years ago, but more and more it seems like it was just a lucky streak.
Yeah.
That it was not ordinary. So we'll have to see.
They made moves. They spent money. They should have gotten better results. They were expected to be more of a contender. For the last 3 years, they've tried to improve their team in the offseason. They've made changes, and nothing came of it.
Well, the idea was good. They wanted a team that hit the contact more. They wanted a team that could take advantage of the bigger ballpark more. They have a huge ballpark. They have a ballpark that's like Safeco Field in that it's huge. And they wanted guys who could put the ball in play. They wanted guys with a little bit more speed. And they looked at Alonso and a couple other guys they got rid of as guys that didn't have speed. the Edwin Diaz thing, that looks like a great move because he's been out now for the season, right? So I don't know. It's people don't have patience.
No.
With sports anymore. They don't. A team can't have a bad year, and you can't have several bad years. The only team that people are patient with are the Pirates. they seem to draw people. That they're going to draw their million no matter what, because you know what, the food is cheap. It's pretty good. It's not expensive to go to the ballpark. You can afford to take a family of 4 to the ballpark. It's a good show. And they give out a lot of bobbleheads. So they keep people coming. So in that respect, if you don't care about winning, if you just want a Broadway show, it's a great place to go. If you want to take the kids out for an evening of entertainment, it's a great place to go. But that's what you can expect. Unfortunately, you can't expect winning.
And they have a nice ballpark.
Beautiful. Best ballpark in the majors, I think. I mean, if you want to take Wrigley and Fenway out of the mix and Dodger Stadium, I think it's nicer than Dodger Stadium because you have the view of the skyline, you have the city, you have the river. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure that they would have if they could have, but if they could have turned, what are they calling it this week? Pac Bell Park, whatever it is. If they could have turned that stadium around and faced it toward the skyline, you probably would have had a similar effect in San Francisco. Unfortunately, they thought that the Bay would be a bigger attraction than the skyline of San Francisco. I don't know. I think the Bay is a pretty big attraction.
Covey Cove.
Yeah, to people to show up in their boats, but would have aesthetically it been better to put that ballpark with the skyline in the background, with San Francisco, with the Transamerica building, and you probably would have gotten the Salesforce building in there, and some of the old buildings. I don't know. Interesting to think about, right? Maybe that's what they should. Like they used to put the stands in Shea Stadium on rollers. Maybe they should put the stadium. When Slovakia builds their ballpark,
they'll build it on the Lazy Susan.
They should think about that. Like, remember the old Circle Star Theater?
Yes, indeed.
You go down
to Carlos.
In San Carlos, and the stage used to go round and round and round, except when Stevie Wonder was there. They didn't circulate the stage when Stevie was there.
Stevie wanted no movement.
Stevie said, "You got to leave everything where it is. It's hard enough for me to read music. Please."
I always wondered, did they plug in your amp and then the stage goes around once and it unplugs?
Well, they plug it into the floor probably, right?
The floor's got to move with everything else.
Yeah, or you would get wrapped up in it. But maybe that's what they should do, is make it so you can have a different view on different days.
I endorse that.
Did you see the piece of good news this morning that the Supreme Court has been laying some crappy news on us lately?
Some horrible news.
But this morning, I think they got one right.
Yeah, they denied Trump his attack on the voting procedure in America.
Well, I didn't see that when I was talking about the E. Jean Carroll verdict. They decided not to hear the case. They told Trump, "No, we're not gonna hear the case.
You got to pay her.
So you got to pay the lady." Their verdict cost him, I think, $8 million. And then there's another verdict on the defamation of character suit.
If he lost one, he's going to lose them both.
Probably so. Now,
well, he's not going to pay her. So what's he going to come up with to prevent that check from being cut?
I was just saying, getting that money is going to be.
Good luck.
I wouldn't write on any checks out on it yet.
Do not take it in crypto. Take it in dollars.
Yeah, take it in dollars, USC or gold. You can take it in gold. I think it'd be okay. But the one thing it also does, though, Michael, is he is a convicted rapist.
Yes.
He is convicted. Now, again, there's a lot of people that always used to like to say, well, OJ was convicted of murdering Nicole in a civil court where the standard of evidence is different. Well, if that's the case, then this morning, as of early this morning, Donald Trump is a convicted rapist. He doesn't have to register as a sex offender.
And so the courts agree on that.
But the courts agree that the president of our United States
is a criminal.
And is liable for his actions. I think it's, listen, the Trump people are still going to love him. I'm sure that after I say this, I'll get people that will be sending me stuff all morning about
the cult.
The cult
come and join us.
Will be in action. They're probably in action all morning, calling talk shows and saying they don't let you on to say anything anymore. But, espousing that he's a good man and she rigged the court or she did that or she did this or he's immune. Keep it. Don't send it to me. I'll only think less of you if you do.
You can't improve your lot in life by sending that crap to Vinnie.
Yeah, I think more send me a thing is, I think he's a good president, but he's a scumbag rapist. I respect you more.
Will you accept cat videos?
Well, it depends on who. I don't want to make Puna jealous.
No, go ahead. He can't consider any other cat in the world but himself. He thinks he is the cat. We had a cat named Dr. Nigel Hampton who gave up his medical practice to become emperor of all cats. And he was not as vain as Puna.
Yeah, cats can get pretty vain. Cats, if there's one animal that you would ever expect to know how to use a selfie stick, it would be a cat.
Sure. They invented it.
Yeah, you could come home and see the cat with his paw on the selfie stick taking a picture of himself and not really think much about it.
Let's get some pictures of me eating and I'll accept the food now. Feed me now. And we'll get plenty of shots of this.
Yep. No, they believe the world revolves around them. And, listen, why shouldn't they? Because for many cats, it does.
Well, most cats.
Yeah, I don't know many people that don't treat their cat like royalty. My sister Marianne, I mean, she has just an adorable little cat, great cat. But boy,
lucky cat.
Luckiest cat you ever did see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this cat is a top shelf cat. And my brother-in-law found him in inside of a lift, like one of those mechanical lifts that they stand in to like pressure wash the side of a building, or something like that, or change a light bulb on the outside. He was stuck in one of those meowing when he was a little kitten. And he saw him and he brought him home and he, rescued him, and they wound up keeping him because he really had nowhere to go.
He had gone far enough. He found his great connection.
His cat doll went off, and it got him right where he needed to be. He
Yep.
saw Matt go by, and Matt had a big lollipop wrapper around him and said, "Sucker," like in the old Merry Melodies cartoons. And there he was, boom. An
And cats
all
have a
new
way of making a deal on the run in a situation like that. You and me. We're going to hook up, and it's going to be great. You'll see. It's going to be good for you too,
yeah,
but really great for me.
yeah. I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna love this more than you ever thought I was gonna love this. And stick around because you're gonna love it too. You may not think you'll love it, but I'm a cat. I know better than you.
Yeah.
I've got this. I've got this down.
Now you'll run into a human who says, "I know better than the cat," and they haven't learned yet.
In my experience in life, which is going on to 70 years now, well, more than 70 years, I have never seen a cat dumber than a human.
It's just not possible.
I've just never seen it. Now,
Also, humans, you have to admit, when they're dumb, they're really a force of nature for dumbness.
painfully dumb. Painfully dumb. When a cat's dumb, I don't think you even know it. I mean, if they fall off a 10-story building, they land on their feet.
Do they have cats in Slovakia?
Oh, yeah. It's the national bird.
Well, somehow that makes sense.
Yeah, no, they have cats. And yeah, no, they live in smaller houses, but yeah, cat houses.
They rule the roost.
And Slovakia is famous for their cat houses. So, yeah, we gotta set up a visit to Slovakia sometime soon. We haven't been, and I don't know how Route 66B is doing, or 66A. I don't know, haven't talked to the mayor of Slovakia for a while. I suspect that they're doing well, except that they made a statement in the war against the United States and Iran by coming out for the line. They are supporting the line that's been drawn between Iran and the United States. That's who they're in favor of.
They're pro-line.
They're pro-line. They said that we don't want to take sides in this thing, so count us in for the line. If the line gets broken, we'll go out and fix it. If it needs to be painted, on two colors with a black line in the middle with dashes, we can do that. We have the whole Slovakia Painters Union ready to go to take care of the line. So we should, so consider us in support of the line.
And they do a great frontage road. I think there's worldwide agreement on that. If you need a frontage road, or you're thinking about getting a frontage road, or you need a consultant to tell you about where to put your frontage road, get a Slovakia authority to help you.
Well, I just saw a YouTube video not too long ago about Texas and how they build their frontage roads, and it was clear in this video
They didn't know what they were doing.
that they knew what they were doing. They had an instruction from the Slovakians.
That's wise. Get some professional help.
They said these people know how to build a frontage road. We build a lot of frontage roads to nowhere. They just end a mile past the exit.
But with a nice sign that says end.
End. But we should do something different. We should do like they, in New York, you can ride the frontage road, the service road, they call it there, from the Midtown Tunnel all the way out to Long Island. You can go all the way out to frontage road. You don't ever have to get on the Long Island Expressway. And the Spolpakians like that idea. They build a high bridge for the freeway, for the highway, and then they build a low bridge for the frontage road, so that people feel like they're getting their money's worth on the interstate. They want to feel like when they go over that hump, that bridge, they're getting what they paid for.
Maybe we could take a tour with us. Come with Mikey and Vinnie to Slovakia. It's like Rick Steves' European tour, except instead of going to Europe, we go to Slovakia. And we all stay at the same hotel. We all go to the same restaurants. We check out the museums, the frontage roads.
I like that.
You drive on 66A and 66B, unlimited access to either one.
We go to the Slovakian museums. I mean, as we've said before, there's quite a number of museums in Slovakia that not many other people know about. There's the Museum of Shell Casings, which I'm sure that that you've heard of before. But most people have.
Famous crimes always have shell casings.
Yeah, they buy. Shell casings are only needed for evidence for a certain amount of time. So once the shell casings are used in a trial, the police departments have to get rid of them. And many years ago, somebody running a police department evidence room said, "Wait a minute, if we have John Dillinger's shell casings here, we can sell these. There's some collector that will buy these."
And you've learned on Law and Order and many other Spolpakian documentaries how to pick up a shell casing without getting your fingerprints on it. Use a ballpoint pen.
Is it a ballpoint pen, Michael, or is it a pencil?
Either one will do. Either one will do nicely. Pencil's old school, ballpoint pen is for cutting edge shell casing retrieval.
Don't use a fountain pen.
No.
Also, the ballpoint pen is also good for moving hair out of blood.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see what color eye she has or he has. But yeah, that's a valuable. So they have the shell casing museum there. Many interesting shell casings. I know that they were involved in trying to get a JFK shell casing at one time. And I think they might have been outbid on that. From Jack Ruby's family. The estate of Jack Ruby wanted that shell casing.
The event was the assassination of Lee Harvey Oswald.
The assassination of the assassin. Well, the assassination of the blamed person. Yes. The assassination.
Everything's just alleged in that case.
Yeah, because he was never. I was just about to say something, and I don't know if I know the answer. He was never formally charged with the assassination of Kennedy, was he? Oswald. Yeah, I'd have to look that up. I don't remember that he was ever formally. I mean, he might have been. Well, there was no law about assassinating a president, oddly enough.
I remember the satirical news show, that was the week that was.
TW3.
Came on and named the Dallas Police Force as the winner of new comedy group of the year.
It was quite farcical. I mean, if you go back and you look at the accounts, the great thing, one of the great things about YouTube is you can waste your time. You can waste a day just sitting there and going through stuff. But if you're smart, you can waste your day on good stuff. You can waste your day on filling in the blanks of your life. and looking at things that you never thought you'd see again. I've seen more stuff on it, especially if you're a conspiracy theorist or somebody who has an interest or wants to go back and just look at what you saw as a kid, but now look at it through a pair of adult eyes.
You probably know that the Superman story, which you're the authority of the black and white George Reeves television version. The Superman story is going to get another chapter as Supergirl. The movie is now out, and she has a super dog too, right?
Crypto, yes. I don't know if they call it Crypto in the movie. I saw the preview of the movie. Critics are panning it so far, but I'll, again, I'll see it for myself and judge it for myself. A hot Supergirl could mean trouble for Vinnie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's, there was at one time supposed to be a series about Supergirl. I don't know where it got stalled. It was all supposed to be Superboy, which actually made a pilot. You can actually go on YouTube and watch the Superboy pilot, which was done by the same people that did Superman. That same group of people.
So this was years ago.
This was done in probably 1960.
Mm-hmm.
So after George Reeves, they were trying to figure out a way to keep the franchise going. So they came up with several ideas. One of them being Supergirl, another one being Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane continue on without Superman in some kind of scenario, which I don't think would have worked.
Jimmy Olsen can't fly.
And another was Superboy, and do that prequel.
Yeah.
And so they shot a pilot, and it's interesting because it's done by the Superman people. So
did Superboy change his clothes in a phone booth or a room closet?
No, I think it was like a closet or something. I don't know if they ever showed him changing clothes in school. But there was, I'd have to go back and look at it. I haven't watched it in a number of years. So I'll have to go back and look at it and see if where he changes his clothes. But he's definitely, he's onto something. And then there was also a Superman takeoff, a Superman derivative, where they're all dogs.
Perry White's a dog?
All of them are dogs. Superman is a dog. It's like
what breed of dogs were the villains?
All different ones. All different ones. They were all. It was kind of like the Muppets. The Muppets do Superman. I think it's on YouTube as well.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's. I'll if I see the link, I'll send it to you. But just search Superman with dogs on YouTube, and I'm sure it'll pop up.
One of the shows that Kristen and I have been watching, and we're powering through it every night, is on Netflix. It's called Resident Alien. It's about an alien that comes to Earth to destroy all life on Earth. That's his job. And he can't get it done, and he has to mask himself as a human and does so. He chooses a doctor in a small town in Colorado and inhabits his body and is the town doctor. And he is disappointed to learn that he's becoming more and more human as he maintains his human look. Some of the people in town, there's one kid that can see him as he really is, which is like an 8-foot tall alien with 4 arms, and it's a clever comedy and well written. I recommend it. Resident Alien on Netflix.
Resident Alien. All right, I'll have to check that
and
out.
There's 4 or 5 seasons, so there's plenty of it.
Before we go, we would be remiss. And I know you don't like being remiss.
I don't like it.
I hate it. I want at the first sign of remiss, I go to the doctor and try to get it taken care of.
It's one of the things the Giants don't have. They don't have a remiss.
There's no remiss. There's no remiss. I know many people have no remiss. I've tried to move them over to the side, but anyway,
that's humans for you.
It is Melvin Kaminsky's 100th birthday.
And why do we celebrate?
Well, because he is, I think, and I think many of people agree with me, that he is the greatest comedic mind alive today. Melvin Kaminsky, of course, changed his name to Mel Brooks after he left Brooklyn.
And how old? He's over 100 now. 101.
100 years old, I believe today or yesterday. But let's go with today for the moment. There's a great article in the New York Times this morning about Mel Brooks and 100 reasons why you should love him. I mean, I think I have more than 100 reasons. I mean, he's just been my
100 reasons just in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. June 28th is his birthday.
So that was yesterday.
And it's just to have this guy around
is good.
After 100 years, to go back and look at the comedy that he has given us, has observed, has written. I mean, all the way back from your show of shows and television writing to movies to
comedy albums
and comedy routines and stand. I mean, the whole gamut of comedy. He's been there, and he's been funny.
His answer from Carl Reiner was, "You've seen so much. You've seen 100 years of history. What's the greatest invention? It's the greatest achievement of mankind. What have you seen in your 100 years that still impresses you?" And his answer was a nectarine. It's not a peach. It's not a plum. It's a little of this, a little of that. It's the greatest. But his definition is, it's not a peach. It's not a plum. You have a bite. It's tasty. It's wonderful. It's a little of this and a little of that. It's a nectarine. It's the greatest thing ever.
I love it. His do you have a favorite? I mean, most people are going to say Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Because it just unless you're such an avowed politically correct person, you'll say I never watch it anymore.
I like Frankenstein.
Right. Which is I think anybody who says they don't watch Blazing Saddles anymore is either lying or they're cheating themselves out of one of the greatest cultural phenomenons. But that whole period where he was hot. He would, did Blazing Saddles, did Young Frankenstein, did Silent Movie, which I believe is his most underrated movie.
What I like about Young Frankenstein is the recurring comedic tool that he uses, for Frau Blucher.
Yeah.
The horses always neigh whenever you mention her name, or she comes in, she enters, and there's no horse in the scene. There's no horse in the room. There's no horse in the building. The closest horse is tied up 10 blocks away, but he still hears the name mentioned and neighs, and it's a great recurring bit.
Yeah, it's like God is every time somebody says the name, God's acknowledging her existence. Yeah, his his comedic. It's funny. I guess. Well, actually, I said that Silent Movie was maybe his most underrated, but I can't say as I was a fan of this movie when it came out. But in looking at it years later, Spaceballs is a pretty damn funny movie. Again, maybe it's a little funnier to a nerd, space nerd.
And the producers, don't forget the producers, because he wrote some great songs for the producers. Springtime for Hitler.
Oh yeah.
You can't get better than Springtime for Hitler.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't know the words to that song? And certainly if you're and you have to think about, again, the time in which he wrote that. It was still close enough to the Holocaust where it rubbed people.
Yeah.
It rubbed people the wrong way.
Well, it's because it rubbed him the wrong way that he made a great comedy about it.
Yeah. So happy birthday to him. Thank you for so much comedy and so many. There were two comedians in the 70s that my brother and I knew every word of their routines. It was Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks, and his jokes, his bits that he would put into those movies. We knew
Marvin Kaminsky.
Yeah, I think it was Melvin or Melvin.
Melvin.
But yeah, I hope he had a happy birthday, and I hope that it had to be tough for him after Carl Reiner passed away. They always say it's tough when you outlive your friends.
Yeah.
And then had to deal with last year the tragedy of losing somebody who was like a son to him in Rob Reiner. And so he's a guy and he lost his wife of many years, Anne Bancroft.
To be 101, that's you see a lot of life.
Yeah. When you get to 101, you've seen some stuff. Also, a vet, was in World War II. I mean, he's made his life experiences come to life in a funny way.
Turn him into shtick.
Yeah, his Torquemada in History of the World Part 2, doing the Inquisition, da 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 da, the Inquisition, da 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 da. All right. Well, we wished Mel Brooks a happy birthday. We wished each other a happy week. What do you say we get together on Wednesday and try this all over again with different words?
Brought to you by the government of Spalpoka.
Spalpokia, hail Spalpokia, as we always say at the gym.
And honor her name.
Honor her name. Maybe we ought to write a Spalpokian national anthem. Maybe that would serve us well.
Yes, I think so. You can't have a country without a national anthem.
Well, you could, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it. All right, I'll see you on Wednesday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, Michael. Take care of yourself, huh?
Take care of yourself, Vinnie, and we'll see you Wednesday. A wacky Wednesday awaits.
Thank you, friends, for listening to the show. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine. See you then.
See you, Lanky. The Inquisition. Do, 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 do.